I usually have an answer to the question, but this time I'm gonna be quiet. Quiet time. Ain't nothing like the feeling of uncertainty, the hearing is.
What is going on YouTube? xSerena here, back at it again. We're back after like a year hiatus of the series. We're finally back with Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links Metagame Breakdown, episode number, I think this is 16. So, we haven't done the series in like over a year. I severely apologize for that, but finally I can record again, and we're so back with the series. I can finally stream a bit more. I do plan to be streaming, learning the new decks. I don't know when I'll be streaming, maybe next week with the rank reset. We'll be playing Despia. But, we do have two ways to see the metagame right now. We have the Duel Links meta snapshot, and we have the tier list update. This one's gonna be a bit long, so sit back, relax, grab some snacks, and yeah, let's get into it. So, looking at the current, not the forbidden list, but looking at the newest box release, we have some new decks joining the fray. We have Despia, we have Ra, we have Sky Striker support, we also have Chimera. I think those, and also Adamanticators. I think out of these decks, at least the past few days, the decks we've seen with the most potential have been mainly Despia, because ending on a minus 600 monster with Masquerade. Let's look at Masquerade, by the way. Where is Mask? Right here. Ending on this is certainly a thing of all time. Also, you can also end on a board nuke as well. But anyways, let's get into the tier list. So yeah, this is the shakeup that we've all been waiting for. After just 3 days, it's clear that Despia is a top tier contender, and the meta will most likely revolve around it. While the other decks in the box have potential, it remains to be seen if they will be power enough to enter in the meta or as strong, or remain as strong rogue options. The new entry to the meta is Despia. It's still hard to say which deck will be the best after a mere 3 days, since the matchups are not well defined yet. An important change we see is the rise of DD Crow to stop Branded and Red, which is also good against Shadow and Speedroids, and a decline in Nibiru, which is bad against Shadow and Despia. Essentially because Despia is like turn 1 is literally just like Mask Pass. It's not like an insane busted turn 1 like Speedroid where you summon so many times you can play into Nibiru. And after that, Forbidden Droplet is now the best card in the game, being able to turn off basically everything while being the only generic tech that could stop the first Dark Lord's board wipe. Yes, essentially you're going to need Droplet this meta. I think Droplet and DD Crow, you are really going to need this meta if you want to have a chance to really go against Despia well enough. And also DD Crow is good against some other decks like Shadow. You could DD Crow their Resh, Ancient Gear. I think you can DD Crow. You can probably DD Crow. There's the spell that pops. That when it's in the grave, it pops a card. It pops its own card on field. It's obviously good against Despia, good against Speedroid because you can stop the revive with double Yo-Yo or Duke. And then the other decks. I don't know about Gusto and kind of Resonators, I guess. Utopia, I don't think it's useful against. But yeah, let's see. So yeah, the current metagame before the new box Shadow was tier 1. As we still see, Shadow right now is tier 1. But I think Despia will certainly rise to tier 1. I think it's a very strong deck. I think it's a little bit stronger than Shadow, but I do think it's a strong deck overall. You still set up your Shadow Wendy and Winda and Schism, sending the first Dark Lord to the grave. So I have no idea how Shadow can survive a turn with Morning Star and Droplet or any out to Winda. Like Ken saw that any hand without Morning Star instantly loses this Shadow setup. Yeah, you really need Morning Star, a way to get Morning Star in hand, or a way to get to it, so you can really get the use out of the first Dark Lord. Ancient Gears here. Speedroid dropping down a tier. It was formerly tier 1 for like so long, but now it's tier 2. And let's just look at Despia. Despia is a super consistent and powerful deck with its access to the Dark Lord and Sky Striker engines. Although yeah, this too. The deck can also play the Sky Striker engine, and essentially you're just gonna be on like, it's just like Mask Pass. Let me see if I can find a build to further explain here. Yeah, you can use Eagle Booster on Mask, and It's not affected by card effects this turn except its own. If you have 3 or more spells in grave, it can't be destroyed by battle either. So, trying out this thing is going to be a pain in the ass. Literally. Skill Theater, the branded opening, adds a... You can add the field spell, either a Despia or a branded opening, just by revealing a Despia or branded opening. It also lets you Foolish Burial Despia and add branded and rare for free going second. Now, I'll run through the main pieces of the deck. Aluba the Jester Despia searches for branded spell traps with the ability to resummon itself and negate a monster when a fusion monster is destroyed. Pretty decent effect. Also, you're probably going to want to get 3 of this anyways when we eventually do get branded, because eventually you're going to have to get ready for 1,000 years of branded, because there's a lot of branded support. There's Dramaturge that can negate monsters when extra deck monsters are summoned. You have Ad Libitum, can shrink monsters, but more importantly, resummons monsters from graveyard banishment when used as fusion material. Despian Comedy is a hand trap target protection for Despias that also has a Link Karibo-esque effect, tributing from grave to help your fusion's effect go off through target indication. This card isn't played like as much as the others, but it's still a decent card, I'd say. I don't play it in my build, but I am interested in trying it out for the Link Karibo-esque effect more than anything. Despian Strategy searches for Despias instead of graveyard banishment and can reset branded spell traps. First Dark Lord protects all your Despias and Dark Lords from being targeted, while also being able to summon fairy type monsters from grave. When summoned with Dark Lord Morningstar, can wipe the opponent's board. The last effect is important because Despia can trivially summon the first Dark Lord on your opponent's turn through branded red, since all the Despias are also dark fairy types. Yeah, so like, let's say you get past Mask, now you have to deal with the first Dark Lord. A 4K beater, by the way. Masquerade is an environment where burn cards have the potency to be had by default. Masquerade's hefty life point tax of 600 per game action was completely untouched. It can also summon itself from the graveyard as a quick effect. Your opponent controls an extra deck monster. Yeah, it's I think the burn is like a cost. It's like a cost compared to a burn. I don't know the ruling on that. I forget the terminology. Condemned Dark Lord also searches for the missing Dark Lord cards. Yeah, it just needs 2 fairies, and then discard 1 to add a Dark Lord monster from your deck, and either add it to hand or send it to grave. Branded Opening is a Rhoda or E-Tally for Despias that serve as Neos Fusion S protection for the graveyard of your fusions. Branded Red adds a Despia card to hand that fusion summons. Since it's a quick play spell, it can also be used to summon cards like the first Dark Lord on your opponent's turn. Despia Theater, the branded is a field spell that acts like a fairly basic poly, lets you resummon fusions when your non-fusions are destroyed by card effect. So yeah, a lot to read, but man, is this shit good. Like, you not only with the skill, you only have to reveal 1, by the way, so you just have 1 in your hand and no others. Then add any Despia, it's like virtually any Despia, and you can add the field spell on top of it. And then going second, you just get even more advantage. It's crazy! Skills now are definitely crazy from the last time we've done a metagame breakdown. Thanks to dealer release a combination of pre-existing Dark Lord cards, Despia has arrived at a strong deck right out the gate. Many decks are also running Banishment, which is sometimes needed for going second, but thanks to the Condemned, Despia can set up the first Dark Lord's board wipe going first, while also protecting your fairy monsters, because first Dark Lord makes it where your opponent cannot target fairy monsters you control with card effects. Additionally, Despian Comedy protects your Despia monsters with cards like Veiler, Color Forbidden Droplet, Deity Crow are rated in Prominence. Since Droplet can be non-targeting a gate, and Crow can banish the branded and red target, forcing them to use Despia Theater to branded defuse. So yeah, also the skill can play Nibiru. Yes, not only that, you have broken skill, but you can also play Nibiru. Now we're not gonna go over, I think, all of these, but yeah. We'll switch over to now Speedroid. Speedroid is mainly tier 1 because the other tier 2 decks, with its ability to see a variety of text. However, with the release of Despia, cards like Effect Veiler, Duplicate, Ghost Mourner, and Book and Boot are much less effective since Despia has a lot of non-targeted protection. So yeah, you really are going to want to draw your droplets, your eclipses. Speedboard drops to tier 2. As it struggles to keep with the meta, the tech is quite tech reliant, so Despia's emergence will prove difficult. Yeah, they could also nuke the whole thing with the first Dark Lord, as much as I mentioned. Yeah, Speedboard has been demoted to the new contender, and Despia is severely outclassing its grind game. Despia has no problems going second to Speedboard, as they can get to do 2 copies of Branded Red to play around. Spell Trap Negate and make the first Dark Lord and nuke in the background, creating a board stake from which Despia easily takes control. Resonator is still in tier 3, Gusto still in tier 3. You know, Gusto being in tier 3 is one of the things I like about Duel, because you can have the most shittiest decks that were like absolute dog shit, like TCG, OCG, but Duel saves it with like a really broken skill. Like we had that with Gusto. I think it was cool when Ghost Tricks were meta. Yeah. Utopia dropping down a tier. It has been performing well in the past weeks. So yeah, Despia, it obviously does make a very strong end board, because most decks are going to need to draw 2 techs to even deal with its end board. Like if you have the 2 techs, more than enough to deal with the Utopia end board and more than likely win the duel there. Now we have high potential. We have Chimera, finally introducing the illusions type into the game, and Sky Striker also getting like 2 new cards, I think, and a brand new archive skill, which is pretty good. Yeah, I fully agree with Chimera here, pretty much because I do think it's a strong deck, but I feel like it's gonna be better once people optimize the builds, because there's a bunch of different builds. Like some people playing in Infernoids, you have the End of Anubis, Invader of Darkness. But yeah, here explains one of the deck's issues. It OTKs or attack resistant monsters by zeroing out attack values, which can be played around by simply summoning a defense. So yeah, just summoning a defense versus it. It also struggles against Dweller, Book of Eclipse, and Forbidden Droplet. I'm fairly confident this deck has potential, but it needs to be optimized. So yeah, I do think Chimera is also good. I did see some other funny meme builds where it was like one with Infernity, which was kind of funny, and it also did look kind of good. But I think this box feels like more around bringing back old decks. Like you have Sky Striker bringing back this is an old deck. You have Chimera trying to bring back Infernoids, and then obviously the Copalist and Infernity. You have Despia bringing back Dark Lords. I think that honestly, next ban list, if they do want to hit Despia, they're just gonna go for the Dark Lords. I think Konami just has a big hatred towards Dark Lords. Yeah, Sky Striker received a ton of support to boost consistency with certain matchups. They got Linkage, they got Hamp, and they got the new skill. New skill's pretty fine. It adds some of the copies of the Sky Strikers to your extra deck, and also plays Area 0 outside of the deck. So yeah, we're gonna head into the meta snapshot. I think that's enough yapping of that. So the performance metric, Ancient Gear in the current top spot with 34.5. Second spot we have Despia, Speedray, Utopia, Shadol. Third spot we have Odd Eyes, Gusto, Sky Striker, Chimera, and Agents. So here are the tournaments considered of the week. I'm not going to explain them all, but I am going to let you get a read of them while I look at the remarks. You know a box is good when you get results immediately. Despia mixed with Dark Lord seems very strong. Same with Chimera and Sky Striker. They have the potential to be competitive this format. Despia has found a way to control the board with Mask, and the ability to summon the first Dark Lord in the opponent's turn using Braided Red to board clear. Chimera has so much versatility thanks to Baphomet. So being able to send any Fiend, Illusion, or Beast from deck to grave. We'll probably see various iterations of the deck before finding the optimal list. And Sky Striker is more consistent now thanks to the skill. The deck doesn't need to bring Sky Striker Airspace Area 0 and the new spell Linkage. And the OTK potential is higher than before. You can also summon Galleon Granite to search Nibiru. Yes, we did get Galleon Granite. I do think Nibiru is probably going to be released in a main box very soon. I think that Armageddon Knight is going to be released first and then Nibiru. But yeah, Baphomet, you can also do things like sending Vision Resonator and Vision Resonator triggering to search Fiendish Golem, which is pretty nice. And then here are the winning deck examples. Pretty much standard, it looks like. from all these decks. Aaron, the goat, obviously, on Ancient Gear. I had to glaze real quick. Gusto here. Speedroid here. If you did not know, recently they put Cork Shooter 2-3, which in my opinion didn't do anything, but it more so kind of hurt Gusto in the process. I really think that they should have maybe put like something like, let's say, Takatomborg to 3. Some other decks here. Here's the Sky Striker version of Despia that won Quantum Dailies. Yeah, you essentially just want to have like you want to have Mask with the Eagle Booster. That's pretty much it. Odd Eyes winning. This one was pretty hype actually, not gonna lie. I think Odd Eyes is a pretty cool deck. I have it myself, I've just yet to play it. And then Utopia. Fairly standard list from Utopia. Nothing really new, but they also did get Ray Victory 1, and they are forced to play it with the skill. Also, they're not on Kaijus, interesting enough. I think that Lava Golem is bad in Utopia, so if you're still playing Lava Golem, you are 100% behind. It's not good in the deck. Let's be real here. It's not good in the deck. But yeah, I think that is it of what we have to go over for today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links Metagame Breakdown. I won't go over the Rush one because obviously we're just looking at speed for these videos. So let me know your current thoughts on the new box down below. I think the new box is really interesting. We got some pretty decent free-to-play decks with Chimera and Despia. Despia is kind of free-to-play for me because you can just play with one Aluber. Obviously you do want like 2 to 3. I think 2 is probably going to be the optimal list. But still, I think it's a decent free-to-play deck if you have most of the stuff already. I think the Dark Lord stuff is also available in box chips. But yeah, enough rambling. Anyways, guys, that's the end of today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links Metagame Breakdown. Let me know your thoughts on the current format and all that down below. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, all of that. Follow me on Twitch. Join the Discord. And anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace!
Hold up, 777. Hold this bitch back like I'm double heaven. Hold up, triple deuces. Hold that bitch up, we got all the juices. Hold up, speak to heaven. Eat that by my mama, demon made it. We body chill, at least I want body.